This is Cistus salviifolius, sage leaf rockrose, and this is a very nice low-growing, drought-tolerant, deer-tolerant, heavy blooming plant, evergreen, and it is from the Mediterranean area, as are most of the rockrose family, and they're used a lot in California. I'm here in a an inland valley near the San Francisco Bay Area, and it gets in the 90s and the hundreds here Fahrenheit, and then this film that you're watching was shot in the Monterey Bay Area near the ocean. So these are flexible plants. They can handle a lot of different conditions. As a rule, the rockrose family can handle down to about 15 degrees Fahrenheit in terms of low temperature tolerance. And then let's just talk a little bit about water, because these are used a lot in drought tolerant landscape design. Once these are established, these really need probably no summer or fall water, which is how in Northern California, or much of California, that's how it goes here. We don't get rain usually after April, and it doesn't usually start in any meaningful way again until October or November. So there's a lot of months where there's no rain, and these tolerate that just fine. I recommend for irrigation design setting these up on drip. They prefer well-drained soils. So if you have heavier soils, I would recommend that these be planted in slightly sloped areas or slopes where you won't have settling water that could become a problem for the root zone for these plants. As you can see here, they're very heavy bloomers. This was taken in mid-April, this film here, and this is only half of what this is really going to do. When this is in full bloom, that will be a solid white photo you're looking at. And these nice little white flowers are about 1.5 inches to 2 inches in diameter with the yellow center, and they're just quite a show. This variety of rockrose probably gets about 2 feet tall, and it can spread as much as 5 to 7 feet wide. Here it's kind of piling up on another plant, and that's true for a lot of plants. It's not a true reed. If you see in the background there's some rosemary there, and this thing's starting to climb up into it, but generally this is about a 2-foot high plant. So ways to use this in design: they're great for oceanside plantings. They just really like that situation. They like the sandy soil, they like the cooler air, and they can be cut off on water after a year or so, and they'll be just fine with that. If you water these in regular garden conditions, you may find that they grow super fast. I've had this happen before, but I also found that they died. They had a short lifespan in the end, because their natural cycle is not to get summer water or very little, and when you accelerate the cycle of a plant like that by fertilizing it or watering it in a period when it's used to not getting anything, it goes crazy. They grow super fast, but my experience is you shorten the life of the plant. My biggest concern with rockroses is that they can be shorter lived. 3 to 6 years if they're just mixed in with other landscape plants, I think, is realistic, so I don't use these a lot. It's hard to separate them out in zones that are drought tolerant unless that's the entire plant design. So use these on slopes. They're great on slopes, and you can really squeeze the water on them, and also they're very, very deer tolerant. It's interesting though, some of these varieties are more deer tolerant than others, so I would say test these out before you start throwing down dozens of them and find out that the deer actually like the variety you selected. And that's what I can tell you about Cistus salviifolius, sage leaf rockrose. Beautiful little low-growing ground cover with flowers in the spring to early summer.